Good morning. I hope you guys can hear me. It's kind of windy. My mic is like right there. Hopefully it won't drop. So I always have these great ideas. They are great for lives that I want to do. And then when I get on here, it's like all the great things I was going to say, they like completely leave my head. And then I'm really doing it on the fly. So I hope I remember the things that I thought were good that I wanted to say during this live. So good morning. I hope everyone is having an awesome hump day. It is Wednesday, right? Yes, Wednesday. So just real quick, Black women being bitter. I hear this, I see this. Apparently, according to polls, we are the least eligible for marriage. We're too difficult. We're too angry. You know, we just got a lot to deal with, and they don't want to deal with us, right? Good morning, Savannah. So I kind of want to, hey, Riziki, I kind of want to challenge this notion that Black women are bitter. Let's imagine for a moment that you're a woman. If you're a woman, not hard. If you're a Black woman, you got this. If you're a man, step on the other side. Let's imagine that you are stolen from your home. You are forcibly raped by people you don't know. Then forced to have sex with people you might know, whether they're your uncle, brother, cousin, whatever. You're forced to breed children. And then you've got to work. And then you can't even feed your child because you have to feed somebody else's child. So your child probably dies because you don't have enough breast milk. You got to feed somebody else's kid. And you do this for generations. Generations of this type of abuse and treatment. And you work and sex and so forth and so on. You're stolen from a land where your body is beautiful. Your breasts are out, majestic and magnificent. And then you're brought to a land where those same parts of you that are beautiful are now objectified. The world is now told that you are nothing but a sex object or a worker. And so these are the options that Black women have been given. You're a sex object or you're a worker. Sex or work, or sex work, right? If you want to combine the two. And this is for generations that this happens. After a while, this does something to the psyche of a person. We look at individuals who have gone through trauma and abuse, and we can clearly see that they have been traumatized. You look at somebody who was sexually abused from 5 years old and beaten, and you see them at 25, and you go, oh, I get it. I can see that. So what do you think happens to a group of people after 500 plus years of that type of treatment? How do you think the women's brains change when they did not feel protected by their men? And that's not men's fault. I understand what slavery did. That's a whole nother video. Slavery emasculated men, made them feel as though they didn't or couldn't protect their women. And that had a serious effect on Black men as well, right? A very serious effect on Black men to the point of apathy, right? Our Black men are apathetic because they cannot deal with the generations of having to watch their women go through this trauma and not being able to do anything to help them. And so now you have Black men who are apathetic, who seem like they don't care. Whole nother issue, right? Whole nother issue. Good morning. So is it that Black women are bitter? Or is it perhaps that we have a collective psyche of experiences of abuse that we need to heal? Because I don't think we're bitter. I think we're scared. I think we're frustrated. I think we're angry. And some of us don't even realize that we're angry. And some of us don't even know why. Because we're carrying the anger and the sadness of our ancestors. We're carrying the anger and the sadness of grandmothers who came before us who watched their children die. The other day, Monday, for whatever reason, I was saying a prayer to my ancestors, and I don't often pray or thank my ancestors as much as I should. And both of my grandmothers could have been considered fairly bitter women. But at this point, something hit me, and there was a connection to all of the women who came before me. Guarded and mean. Yeah, That's how we're seen. But there's a reason for that, right? My grandmothers could be seen as guarded and mean. One came from the South during the KKK time that she didn't talk about. And it's not until now that I realize that you don't talk about those things that bring you that much pain. My other grandmother didn't talk about her life at all. And so I don't have any true understanding of what they may have gone through. But on Monday, for whatever reason, there was a click and tears streaming down my face because these women survived whatever they survived that got me here. I don't know if one of them had a dream to be a doctor. I don't know if one of them had a dream to just be married and have kids and have a house. I don't know if one of them had a dream of just not having her sons be lynched. But I'm here to help fulfill the promise of those dreams. But I digress. It's not bitterness that Black women have. It is a collective sense of grief that has yet to be expressed. It is a collective sense of pain that has yet to be dispersed and let go. It is a collective sense of fear for our men, for our children, that no matter how things change, they stay exactly the same. It is a collective sense of not feeling worthy because we've been taught for so long that we're either here for sex or we're here for work. And because of our history in this country, our men have been incapable of standing in support for us the way we need because of the things that were done for them. And so we've largely been left alone emotionally to fend for ourselves, and oftentimes financially to fend for ourselves, which has us living more in our masculine energy than our feminine, right? Because one thing about Black women is we often don't feel safe. I'm not talking about safe where you can't walk to your car. Like, we got that. I'm talking about just safe to be scared, safe to cry, safe to express ourselves. We have to hold it down. We've got to be the strong ones. And so we haven't felt that safety. We haven't felt that protection. You know, when Black girls are young, they're seen as older, right? 12-year-old, 13-year-old Black girls are grown. They're not allowed to be girls. I don't think we're bitter. I think we need to understand our history, understand how our DNA affects us, understand how our ancestry, especially in this country, affects us. And then we need to heal it. Because being in pain, normal. Having trauma, it happens. Choosing to stay there, that's where we have the choice. That's where we have the choice of, okay, that's what happened, but now from this point forward, I'm going to live my life in terms of pleasure. I'm going to live my life in terms of joy and happiness, and not just on Sunday in the church, because that was the only acceptable time for Black women to express their pleasure and joy is on a Sunday. But I can scream like that on a Wednesday evening just because my life is that great. That is what we now need. We now need the healing to come forth. Bitter? No. Unmarriable? Absolutely not. We're getting married all the time. We are beautiful women. We are joy-filled pleasure beings who deserve the protection and respect just like any other woman on this planet. We gave birth to this shit. There wouldn't be an earth. There wouldn't be an earth the way it is if not for us. And guess what? It's not going to change the way it needs to until we wake up. We find our pleasure center. We fully embrace our feminine and show this planet what needs to happen. We do that. We started this. We do that. That's how powerful we are. So are we bitter? No, not at all. Let's stop dispelling this myth that somehow we are angry. We're not angry just for anger's sake, but we have hurt and pain that we need to deal with and that we need to heal. And since I'm going to the shadows now, I'm going to end this live. I hope you all have a fabulous hump day. Love you. Mwah.